Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bhumika Chaudhary, and I'm a lawyer and an independent researcher. And I welcome you all to our session, which is titled A Rights Holder-Led Approach to Corporate Accountability, Lessons from Grassroots Movements in India and Indonesia, where we will be discussing two very powerful 20-year-long resistance movements, one from India and another one from Indonesia, and the different legal and non-legal strategies that they have used to sustain the movement over such a period of time, and also to win victories over corporate exploitation. For too long, corporate accountability has been viewed as a process led by lawyers, international organizations, and governments. But our work with movements in India and Indonesia tells us a very different story. It tells us that it is the community people, especially women and indigenous leaders, who are the true drivers of change. It is these people who sustain movements. It is these people who are always fighting the fight. So now today, we'll be exploring these two very long struggles, like I mentioned. One is the anti-Posco and anti-Jindal movement from India, which was against a steel giant, South Korean company, Posco, and another one is the Jindal Steel. And the other resistance movement that we're discussing today is a fight against a palm oil corporation in Buol, which is in central Sulawesi, Indonesia. We will see how these communities have faced severe repression and how they have amplified their voices against those. I'm very honored to introduce our panelists today. We have from India, Mr. Prashant Paikrai, who's a spokesperson for the anti-Jindal and anti-Posco movement. And from Indonesia, we have Patricia Ann, a community leader and a spokesperson for the Forum Petani Plasma Bowl. I will use the next 10 minutes speaking with Prashant Bhai first, and then I will move to Patricia. Prashant Bhai, the struggle in Orissa is remarkable for its persistence. It started in 2005 when the South Korean steel company, Posco, entered India with the motive of establishing a steel plant, and there were a lot of human rights violations that took place, but the community stood up against it, and we know that Posco withdrew its contract, but soon after that, in 2017, the government gave the same piece of land to Jindal Steel. So can you tell us, can you introduce yourself and tell us about the violations that have taken place and the struggles that the movement has gone through? Over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Prashant Paikrai. I am spokesperson of the anti-Jindal, anti-Posco movement. We are in the struggle last 20 years from the beginning from the Posco to Jindal. You mean in Posco, against Posco in 2005, without prior information of the villager and without village assembly consent. So suddenly Posco came, established their steel plant, captive port, power plant, like that. But the 40,000 people, the 13 village people are opposed. They said we are very peaceful living, traditional livelihood. So we don't want any mega plan. Please withdraw. But they want the forcefully land acquisition. In 2011 and 13, already they have land acquited in 2,700 land. With the many person was arrested and many person are injured by the police. Police beaten to many person and demolished to the different the house, and also many beetle band was destroyed by the police and the companies, so that the people are really, but you must know that movement is peaceful, democratic, and the non-violence movement. And movement is continuing. After the strong resistance, the Posco has withdrawn in 2017 after the intervention of the UN aid rapporteur. After that, in 2019, again the Jindal came. The government is invited to Jindal. And in the Jindal, now the movement is continuing against Jindal, the same place, and by the 40,000 people, by the 13 village people against the Jindal, and after the Posco to Jindal. But Posco left. But unfortunately, after the Posco left, that the 300 criminal cases, the false and fabricated criminal case is pending. The Posco left, but the Posco ghost is there. So 300 criminal case pending against 2,000 people is pending, and now the Jindal case also 120 cases pending against 1,000 people. So 3,000 people are suffering, and repression is continuing against the people by the government, by the administration, by the police and company goons. So dear friends, this is the serious concern matter of our area. We want your support, solidarity to our movement. Thank you.
Can you please play the video?
Yes, please. You just for the moment, I just request for the video so what repression is going on. So, dear friends, many video you have, but just only this is example. So how the repression is continuing, the arrest and torture and many women, men are under the trauma during to anti-Jindal movement, anti-Posco movement to anti-Jindal movement. So, and repression is going on by the company goons and police. Police firing also happened. 5 persons as martyr between the anti-Posco movement. So many things happen. So it's very short period. We can't say everything too. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I'll give a moment to everyone to let this in, for everyone to decompress. We just saw a bone-chilling video about the violations that are taking place on the ground, and that's just a fraction of the violations. There are numerous human rights violations, like Prashant Bhai mentioned, and there's environmental destruction, there's militarization of the area, as you can see. It is not habitable by any standards anymore. There's massive judicial harassment and criminalization of human rights defenders. There's a report that I wrote for the American Bar Association Center for Human Rights, which investigated into the cases against human rights defenders, and it extensively talks about the abuse of due process and custodial torture, and also the kind of cases that are going against them. But Prashant Bhai, we saw that there is a human cost to sustaining this kind of movement. There are people on the ground who are facing this every day. And so can you tell the audience about the different strategies that the movement has used to sustain and win victories? We also know that the movement has been able to let Posco out, and the movement is still going on against Jindal. So can you tell us about the strategies that you've used and the wins also to the audience?
My dear friends, actually, so you see, in the time during the anti-Posco moment also, different strategy we have taken. Already I said that it's a non-violence, peaceful and democratic movement. So, but unfortunately, government forced to violence to us, and company also forced to violence for us. But we are also mum for that, and we are continuing the struggle till we say that till the withdrawal project. Ultimately, after the strong resistance and intervention by the UN, so Posco was withdrawn their project in 2017. And after in 2019, again also government invited to the JSW Jindal for the steel plant, captive port, and cement plant and captive power plant. So still movement is continuing, and many threats, many torture, many people are inside suffering inside the jail, and police are restricted to all 13 villages. Nobody can say anything in front of the media, or you can go for any rally or demonstration against the government and against companies. Many restrictions. Still, people are interested for a democratic movement, and people are determined till the project should be withdrawn, our movement will continue. So we are determined for that. We don't care to any jail or any lathi charge or any police firing or any torture, anything. So we decided that we must fight till the withdrawal of the project, and for that I came here to request to all for support and solidarity, and we are also trying for the different strategy of the for the protection of the people, protection of the human rights, protection of the environment, and we are also going for this National Human Rights Commission, High Court, Supreme Court, and also we are also following in the OECD guideline in the different NCP, and also we are in a national and also in the we have already submission different petition including the human rights violation environment in UN. Different petition is already we have submission, and we expect that you all and UN will be judge and will be do some things for relief to our people for those are fighting last 20 years against Posco and Jindal. Thank you.
Prashant Bhai, before we part, can you also give a little bit of details about the cases that were filed which led to the success of the anti-Posco movement? We know that you filed numerous domestic cases, but you had also approached the NCP of South Korea, the National Contact Point of Norway, the Dutch National Contact Point. So what led to the withdrawal of Posco? What do you think forced them to exit?
Their friends actually, yes, some success we have already we saw in during the anti-Posco moment. When we went to this the NCP of the Norway, Netherlands, and also in South Korea, and in Norway and Netherlands, some very few shareholders withdraw their share from the Posco, but unfortunately, in the South Korea NCP has dismissed our petition because South Korea government, you know that the major shareholder in the Posco. So anyway, so this is the happening there, and also in National Green Tribunal also the stay for the wall of the government because government was interested in that time to a big wall and big long wall to protect this land, forest land for the land bank. But I just to inform you that people are already applied for the FRA, CFR and IFR according to Forest Right Act of India. So Green Tribunal said, no, he can't also construction of the wall, long wall, so they stay for that. So that was also relief for that. Because I just to inform you, FRA is not implemented till now. And Government of India already said, but till now there no FRA is implemented. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant Bhai. Thank you, Prashant Bhai, for sharing such a powerful story with all of us. Now, moving on to the Indonesian movement. Patricia, we see similar courage and resolve in the face of corporate power in the palm oil sector in Indonesia. Can you share your journey with the struggle, introduce yourself, the kind of repression that you yourself have faced? Patricia is a community leader and a spokesperson for the movement, and she has been criminalized for her work. Can you take us through that?
Thank you so much, Bhumika. I don't know if I will be able to talk after Prashant's story. It's really triggering. But well, I would like to take this opportunity to also voice up about the struggle of our community in Buol district, Sulawesi Island, Indonesia. I hope everyone in this room are doing well today. I'd like to address that our movement, we call it Buol Plasma Peasants Forum. It was founded out of desperation and courage as well. This movement could be said to be the third period of resistance by our community against bad practices of palm oil corporation in our area. Previously, our grandparents fought against land grabbing, and there was a small victory. I will start this with small victories of the movement. They reclaimed 400 hectares of their seized land. And then our parents' generation win back around 1,200 hectares of the remain seized land. And today, our parents, with us, their children, fight against land grabbing still. It's because we've trapped in a kind of contract farming scheme, a palm oil partnership that was driven by the government policy in the name of community welfare, so-called plantation revitalization. So since 2008, around 4,934 farmers who own land around 6,746 hectares in Buol have been persuaded and forced into a palm oil, we call it plasma partnership program. with this company called PT Hardaya Inti Plantations. This is a palm oil company owned by one of Indonesia's most influenced conglomerate family. Long story short, this corporation betrayed our agreements. There's no profit sharing for dozens of years to the landowners, to the farmers. They also manipulated production figures, and the company claims that farmers, the landowners, have debt of 1 trillion rupiah, millions of dollars, without any evidence of budget use. We are threatened with losing our rights to our land. And every time we carry out peaceful action demanding justice and transparency from this company, the company answers by orchestrate horizontal conflict scenarios. Farmers face off against plantation workers. And also the armed forces intervene. They threaten us with their troops and firearms, with attack physically, sexually, and criminalize, simply for defending our lands. We formed this movement so that we could unite, organize the resistance, enrich our knowledge and data, and voice our aspiration legally, politically, and in development spheres. I'd also want to address the challenge in this movement. Well, of course, we're facing a large corporation in league with the authorities, fighting against fraudulent contracts that bind thousands of households and persevering amidst systematic repression. But it is precisely from this that we learn that true strength lies within our own community. From the solidarity of farmers, from the courage of women, and from the belief that our land is our source of life.
Thank you, Patricia. The challenges that you've mentioned sounds immense, but I really bow down to the courage that your community is showing. We're all here in solidarity with you and your people. You face not just physical threats, but also criminalization and legal threats. Can you tell the audience about the criminalization or the slap suits that you're facing there?
Yeah, that is right. Thank you, Bhumika. In this matter, the rights holders not only facing the corporate harm, of course, but also the tools of state repression. And I think it's happening not only in our community, but all community that facing the bad practices of palm oil in Indonesia and even in Malaysia. Every time we were protesting, the authorities came in full force. The military involvement in suppressing human rights struggles is very, very real. I want to highlight that this military involvement in community struggles making the human rights violation even worse. We were evicted from our own land. We were pushed, beaten, and our homes attacked. Women had their hair pulled, punched in the cheek. Children were traumatized, and even pregnant women were beaten. This wound persists to this day. And what even more spicy is that we reported those abuse acts to the police department over a year ago. You can guess what the police do. Yes, no serious action been taken to this day. And you might also guess what the police response when the company is the one who make reports. The so-called Land Occupation Act. During 2024 to 2025, dozens of farmers and human rights defenders received police summons, including myself and 7 other women in our community, and even a minor, a son of farmer. In my case, my name was recorded in a criminal file, suspected of inciting many people to commit criminal act. I've been attacked sexually and on online platform as well. My photos and identity was spread online. Labeling as a communist, stooges, and anti-investments, and it's very common in Indonesia. It is the way to kind of influence the public opinion, to hate the human rights defenders, to hate the activists and their movements. Red tagging is always used to attack women and human rights defenders in Indonesia because it's a distinct threat. It's due to the regulation concerning the prohibition of the dissemination of communist ideology in Indonesia. And often to corner us as human rights defenders. I think it's the same in other countries where related to the agrarian conflict. SLAP is often used as a systematic way to exhaust, silence, and also exclude women human rights defenders from the community struggle. For women, however, the burden is much heavier. Why? We're not only the victims on the ground, we have to maintain the household, comfort our traumatized children, and at the same time, we need to stand in the front line to speak out about our struggle. Although we're more vulnerable, it is women who keep the spirit of this movement steadfast. So yeah, the repression is real, using the authorities and the law to exacerbate the ongoing human rights violation, physically, psychologically, and sexual attacks to the defenders. But none of that stopped us, please highlight. On the contrary, it strengthened our resolve that this struggle is right and our voices must not be silenced. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Patricia. Would you like the audience to see the video that you had compiled? Thank you so much, Patricia and Prashant Bhai. Thank you for bringing your stories to us. It has been a very powerful experience just listening to your stories. But what I saw and heard today is not just violations and exploitation. I'm also hearing and seeing a lot of strength and resilience of these communities. They shouldn't be going through this, but this is the reality. And it also tells me that the places of struggle and the sectors may be different, but on the ground reality is very similar across the Asia-Pacific region. And this also brings us to a very critical point. While outside support is crucial, it's often contingent. funding cycles come and go, international attention fades over years, but it is these community people, it is these indigenous leaders, women, old people, children, everyone coming together to ensure that these movements sustain, because they're fighting for their land, for their environment. And so for us, it is extremely important that we recognize that and give them the respect and the space that they should hold in these movements and in these fights against corporate exploitation. Our goal is not just to understand these struggles, but to learn from them. Now, when we go back, we should all reflect on the kind of space and on the kind of push that we want to give these human rights defenders. They need to hold spaces, they need to hold the voice that they deserve. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending this session. We are at time, but if there are any questions, comments from participants, we can take those.
Since last 2 days, we are all discussing about the human right protection, indigenous rights. But in reality, what kind of violations? So how can we, whatever the lesson, because whether it is Indonesia or whether it is India, and particularly for the indigenous community, there are special protection rights in their both the countries' constitution and even at international level. So how can we influence to all these business houses, like the lesson from Posco movement, they stopped their investment. So how, what are these lessons we can, share with other project? That is number one. Number two, here in Indonesia and also in Odisha, the atrocities by state and corporates. So the cases, illegal cases on community rights under the name of either Naxalism or communist. So in other hand, we have a political, rights and all this. And in the other hand, they are, in the name of Naxalism or communist. So how can we, as a human rights defender, we fight this, our struggle at international level or in other sense from micro to macro level? Particularly lobbying and advocacy.
Thank you. I think we can take a few more comments and questions and then come back to it together.
Hi, I'm Chloe from the Freedom Fund. I was kind of wondering about your perspectives on the forum, actually, because my perspective so far is there's quite a separation between rights holders' perspectives and groups representing rights holders, and then other panels with other perspectives. I'd be quite interested to know actually even who's in this room, if it's predominantly NGOs. So just your reflections on kind of as rights holders and representatives of rights holders, how you think we in this forum could bring people together more and have these discussions in a more joined up way, and what you would be striving for and what kind of discussions you would be liking to have. Thank you.
Any more questions or comments? Okay. Maybe Prashant, I can go first and then Patricia.
Dear friends, actually, it's my opinion. It's my opinion. I can't say the opinion, in your opinion, you are agree or not. You see, in globally, the corporate agenda is clear. The corporate agenda is looting to the natural resources, land, water, livelihood, forest, everything. This is my opinion. Number two, they want a land bank, the hidden agenda. So in this context, you have already said, only the ways, the mass protection, the mass protest. We have seen in Asia different incidents in Nepal and Bangladesh and everywhere. So we are voting that you must know and you must wait. The explosion may be happen in different places, including our area and other area also. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant Bhai. Patricia?
Yeah, I hope I can be quick, but yeah, thank you for the question. I think in our case, we already also won at the court in Indonesian Business Competition Supervisor Regulator. We've been reported, and after 2 years, the regulator ruled that this company was guilty of violating the law. But then there is no, I don't know, meaningful approach after that by the government. I don't know why. And also in 2025, this year's, the National Commission on Human Rights also issued a recommendation confirming human rights violation in this case. But then, although this still weak, we are thankful for that this is in a way ensuring that violence will not recur, but we'll see. It's still going on. In reality, the implementation of mandatory human rights due diligence among large businesses in Indonesia remains very weak, I have to be honest. And by the way, in our cases, there has never been an FPIC mechanism implemented in our matter since 1995. Never. So it's we sense a lack of inclusivity and sustainability within this company. But the strange thing is they pass sustainability certification for years. I wonder why. This is the question. And I think we need more pressure. So we're really thankful that we are able to speak in this very forum to kind of voice up what really happened to the palm oil industry that, affected so many communities in Indonesia. And we know that we all may eating food products or cosmetics and even the fuel from this very destructive industry.
Thank you, Patricia. Answering your question on representation of indigenous leaders in the forum, I think it is quite evident that there is underrepresentation. We need more voices from the ground. And to cut the long story short, I think it's about funding. There isn't enough funds to bring people in with the best of intentions from civil society organizations. And no matter how much they handhold, there just isn't enough funding to bring people in. I think the biggest one is fun. Second is they definitely need more handholding than other people attending the forum. And it is not enough if they find out 3-4 months in advance. Most of the people coming from the ground don't even have passports. So it starts from there to understanding the process, requiring more preparation than people like us who are traveling all the time. And so that is my view of the representation here. Thank you so much for attending our session. And we are happy to chat about any of the strategies or the movement outside. Thank you.
Very much.